suppose I started my day around 9:30. I was a wee bit late getting started today with a payment to our customer service rep. She sent me through an email. I just paid her what was owed to her, got that sorted. I then got stuck straight into batch numbers. Can I show you? I probably can. Just so you guys are aware, we're redesigning this package. So we're actually removing the plastic wrapping. We're leaving the barcode, which actually contains the SKU, but we are sticking on it a new sticker that goes like this to stop this from opening in transit. And we want to include the batch numbers on that as well. And the reason we want to include batch numbers is because basically if there's an issue with that product or like group of products in a certain run, we're able to say, well, everyone with this batch is affected. And we didn't have that in the past, and it's meant we've had to ask customers different questions about the product, try to identify which version it was, which isn't ideal. So we're going batch numbers going forward. Eventually settled on year, so YYMM hyphen the order number for that month. That's what we're going with. And it's just going to go on that sticker, and it's just going to be very small down in the corner. So I had to design that sticker and get it sent over to the supplier. So that is done. And also to confirm SKU numbers and barcode numbers for all the revisions, because we're making very slight revisions to these spares. I've settled on not adjusting the barcodes and just adjusting the SKUs to reflect the updated changes, but also the batch numbers forward will have the new changes as well. So we've double protection there. I then had a very quick call with my business partner, and we discussed primarily paid ads. So we're running, I think we're spending maybe £400 or £600 a day on paid ads. I'd like to spend more. That might sound crazy, but I want to spend as much as I can, but it has to be at a certain cost to acquire a customer. Lately, our cost to acquire a customer has gone up, and I was kind of like, we were looking through the ads to try to understand what's been happening. So one of the things we decided to do was for me to join the Telegram group of a community we're a member of that we've paid to join. It's quite a investment every month. I think it's about $1,500, so £1,100 a month. But like for the amount we're spending, you know, if we can make even a few extra sales a month, it'll cover that. So it's well worth doing. So he's organized that. So I'm joining that Telegram group just to be able to watch and see what's going on inside the paid ads. So that was really, really cool. We discussed other things, but I actually can't really remember what they were. Like a lot of stuff about just different business ideas. We're always just, chatting back and forth about ideas, how to improve things. And the paid ads was a big thing. We just want to improve that, right? Straight away when that call was over, I was on to another call with Fahad. He is an absolute amazing person. And he is someone that does a lot of our kind of like logistics in terms of planning, in terms of like our systems, in terms of Amazon, all that kind of stuff, and also liaising with the supplier. And he's doing a lot of work with our bookkeeper now, actually, at the moment as well. But we discussed, I've it all here. We discussed batches again, so the batch numbers. We discussed the packaging, and we kind of agreed that, yeah, we will try without the plastic, and we will do the label, and we agreed that that should work okay. We discussed marketing, so in terms of PPC on Amazon, we discussed that and had a good chat about that. Stock forecasting, what we need to order. So he's going to figure out what we need to order to be in stock going forward, and also for some revisions we're making to our products, how much we need to order, how we can manage cash flow, all that kind of stuff. So we discussed a lot of that. We got stuck into Amazon. We discussed listings. So our listings in Canada are search suppressed because the images aren't right. We're going to get that sorted. Also the copy, the bullet points need to be done. We need to do A+ content, which is like the images at the bottom of an Amazon listing. We discussed that. He's going to handle that. Also our store on Amazon. He's going to sort that. We have our stock available in the UK, in Canada, in the US, and in Australia in Amazon, most of it. And we've used it mostly for picking and packing, so they fulfill our Shopify orders from there. Shopify is our own website, but you can use Amazon to send that out to the customer. And we do have our own local fulfillments in certain parts of the world as well. It's more cost effective, and gives you a little bit more control, but it's good to be on Amazon as well. So Fahad is going to tie all that up. It's not a primary source of revenue for us. Amazon do charge quite a high referral fee. It's okay, but when you sell on Shopify, you don't have to pay that. But then you're paying Facebook to get customers to your store. Whereas on Amazon, ideally customers should be there looking for products anyway, but you have to pay PPC now anyway. So like the costs can get quite high. But the products are there, so let's try and get the listings dickied up and looking better, and we might actually generate some extra revenue. I'm certainly for not running like very low cost paid ads. We did agree that we're going to run some low cost paid ads on Amazon to see can we improve our sale through rate there. What else did we discuss? There was a lot. We have a problem to fix with Amazon Australia. That's not working right for us. We had an issue whereby our account wasn't fully verified, and we sent through the information to get verified, but it took them 4 months. But in that 4 months, our product couldn't sell because we weren't verified. And now we've a really poor like inventory throughput rate, which means they won't let us send in more stock. I think it's been sorted, but that was just an issue we discussed. And yeah, we discussed stock take and kind of like future forecasting and how to accurately do it as we grow, because we've got so many different SKUs, so many different places, so many different warehouses, like as in locations. This is a warehouse here, like technically. It's an old stables, but it is it's a location. So we need to manage that. And he also was looking for something creative, which I told him to go to Alex for and get that. And there's a lot of things left for me to do as well with that. Then after that, when I finished off with Fahad, I moved on to some site adjustments. So I mentioned earlier, our conversion rate wasn't where I wanted it to be, and it has dropped over the last while. I was trying to think, well, what has gone wrong? Now, there's so many factors that could be causing a conversion rate to drop. It could be traffic quality. It could be the type of ads we're making. It could be changes we've made to the website. It could be the weather. Like, there's so many variables, and they all come together to give you a conversion rate. Our products are primarily outdoor products. These are the products that I'm talking about now today. They're cycling goggles, cycling glasses. And if the weather's poor, people aren't necessarily buying them because, like, it's raining. Like, not as many people are buying them. And they do sell better in the warmer times of the year. So that's like one reason what could cause conversion rate to drop, but it's not the only reason, because we've had really good conversion rates in the heart of winter, frost, ice, snow. They're still sold really, really well. Over the last 2 weeks, I have made some changes to the site based on best practice to improve conversion rate. Our mobile conversion rate is not very good, but our desktop conversion rate is very good, but 80% of our traffic is mobile. And in doing that, perhaps I inadvertently damaged desktop conversion, because I've noticed desktop conversion has dropped. So I've reversed some of those changes, and strangely enough, when I have, the phone started pinging more, so we start getting more sales, which basically means our ads will start working better again. I think that's the hypothesis. You don't necessarily always know, but that's why you should always test. And perhaps that's the reason. I don't know, but I've made those adjustments back to what they were previously. Let's see what happens over the next day or two, and then we'll know, hopefully, what was going on, but we won't 100% know. You'll never 100% know. You have to leave things like for a week nearly to get a full test, and everything else to stay the same, and it's sometimes very hard to do that. It's very hard to leave ads running for £400 or £500 a day if they're not necessarily making money, even though a lot of times you are making money, but not what you want to be at. The next thing I kind of got stuck into this afternoon is stock take. So we are trying to get our end of year accounts finished early. First time in my life, I'm trying to get them finished early, because it's important in a business like this to actually have them done and not be last minute. So one of the things we had to do was have an accurate stock take at year end, which is the 31st of December. So because our stock taking system wasn't fully set up, now I have moved on. We have got scanners that I find very beneficial. At the time, we didn't use any sort of stock take, right? And because of that, it was very hard to actually articulate like what our stock take is as of 31st of December. Now, I've gone back in time. I've looked at like what stock was coming in from our supplier, what stock was sent into Amazon, what stock was in Amazon. I've been able to identify, to the best of my ability, what our stock should be, or should have been rather, on the 31st of December. So we've been able to put that now into the accounts as stock on hand, like assets. Likewise, there was a difficulty with accounting for trials. So one of the things we do in our business and in a few businesses is we run a paid trial. So we allow people to test out the product for 30 days, just cover the shipping and handling. And people might say we're mad, right? But we're pretty convinced, based on the data, that by doing this, we actually earn more money than we could potentially lose if someone was a bad actor, right? And we have systems in place. We have a team, debt collection partners that will go out and get the money off people if they refuse to pay after legally saying I will pay for the goods. Like, it's kind of like a hire purchase. You take it out on a hire purchase. You can return it at the end, but if you don't, you owe us the money. Anyways, those trials are very hard to account for because they're not shown at the end of the year as stock, but at the same time, they're sold. So the way I've kind of figured it out is we have to show them as stock on hand at the end of the year, but not actually sold. So that means they can appear in the accounts as an asset. Because they are an asset. Because we have like a 92% success rate overall. And then if you actually take into account returns, because some people return and stuff, we only have about a 4% bad actor rate. And even at that, like, we send out debt collectors. Being honest, it's our money, it's our product, to get the other balance. And we are having good success there. So, you know, it is basically as good as cash in the bank, or near enough it. So I had to figure that out. I think we've done that. And now we can able to finalize the company end of year accounts in the next day or two. And that means that, you know, we have a good solid set of accounts if we want to get more investment, if we want to just know how the business is doing, all that kind of stuff. So that is really important. And that is, folks, just a Tuesday. That's what I've done today, Tuesday. And some days at the end of the day, I'm like, I did not do a lot today, but that is kind of what I do most days, just lots of little problems, and identify them. And there was other things as well thrown in there that I haven't put on that list, but yeah, I want to try and make more of these videos, just share with you what it really is like growing a e-commerce business in 2026 and what actually is involved. So yeah, if you enjoy that, hit subscribe. Nothing to sell you, nothing to all. I'm just going to try to be completely transparent here and just help you guys along and share what I'm doing.